welcome to a new episode of the football show. Today we're going to talk about yesterday's Champions League games. So let's get started. Let's start with the Champions League playoffs. Obviously, second leg. Atalanta against Borussia Dortmund. Atalanta with a fantastic comeback, winning 4-1. And they're not the only Italian team, by the way, who made a fantastic comeback. But Atalanta, brilliant comeback, considering I think everybody woke up yesterday morning, including me, that no Italian team will be in the last 16, but Atalanta proved everybody wrong, and they made a great comeback. Goals from Scamacca, who used to play for West Ham, Zavacosta, Pasalic. However, Dortmund got that late goal. Got that goal, a crucial goal in the 75th minute from Adeyemi. You think like, okay, Dortmund have been given a lifeline here, but then there was a bit of it was a bit chaotic at the end with Charlotek and Scalivini getting sent off. Benisebeni as well, getting sent off as well, obviously with the penalty, and that was the right decision. And Samardesic scores the winner from the penalty spot. And Atalanta are 3 to the last 16, which completes a brilliant comeback. Well done to Atalanta, fantastic comeback. They deserve lots of credit. I mean, they're a team who was 7th in Serie A, and they're not a top quality team in Serie A, but they've shown they made a great comeback. I mean, you have to be disappointed in Dortmund because you have to say they kind of effed it up. But you have to give credit to Atalanta because they were the better team and they created a lot of chances. Should have scored more. They deserve to win. So congratulations to Atalanta for this win, and they go through to the last 16. And Borussia Dortmund, you have to say that they absolutely blew it. Juventus against Galatasaray. Juventus win 3-2, and they made a great comeback, even though they didn't go through at the end, because they went 1-0 up in the 37th minute with a penalty from Locatelli. 49th minute, however, they went down to 10 men earlier in the second half from Louis Kelly, and you think like, yeah, that's it. Galatasaray should go through. The Juventus being down to 10 men, but despite Juventus being down to 10 men, they scored 2 goals. They went 3-0 up. Goals from Gatti and Weston McKennie. Sorry. And you think like, oh, hello. Juventus are going to potentially create an amazing comeback, even despite being down to 10 men. But it felt like it was too dramatic. 2 comebacks in the same night. You think like, no, that's impossible. But with Atalanta, the great comeback they made. As it went to extra time, Juventus winning 3-0. It went to extra time, and Galatasaray scored 2 goals from Victor Osimhen and Baris Yilmaz. So you have to say credit to Juve. They did a great comeback. Obviously with 10 minutes it was always going to be difficult, but they did a fantastic comeback. Osimhen, you have to give credit. I mean, people say he doesn't step up in big games, but you have to say in this game he stepped it up when Galatasaray needed him the most. Galatasaray were struggling. I have to say Galatasaray's performance was really poor. I expected a bit more from them, especially when Juventus down to 10 men. Expected like Galatasaray to get more foot in the game, but they didn't do that for the second half. They did that in extra time. They scored 2 goals. Juventus stepped up. They had to for Galatasaray, and also Yilmaz scoring as well. So and like I said, Osimhen has been getting some criticism that he doesn't step up in big games, but he stepped up in this game. So I think he should be giving a lot of credit. And also, you also have to give credit to Juventus because they did a brilliant job, a brilliant comeback. Yes, it didn't go through, but they did their fans proud. Something like 28 shots, which again, those Juventus players might live with regrets as well. They think like, should have scored more. They could have scored the 4th goal, and they had that chance, but this kind of competition, knockout stages, you have to take your chances, and I think Galatasaray did a very good job in that. And Galatasaray go through to the last 16. Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco ended a 2-2 draw, and PSG, like, they should have went through in this game quite smoothly and no problems, but it could have been drama. It could have been like crazy. Not only the ended 2-2 draw. I mean, they could have blown it away in the end, with that great chance that Monaco had in the end, which made their manager look a bit sad and holding his hands and like, wow, how did we miss that? Because it was the last chance at the end, and Monaco had a great chance to win the game and equal the tie and go to extra time, but that didn't happen. You have to give credit to Monaco as well, because they took the game to PSG. They were not scared of PSG, and even despite when they were down to 10 men, I thought, like, yes, they conceded two goals after in 8 minutes when they went down to 10 men, but you have to say in generalization they adapted really, really well. The manager made some very good changes and they scored the equalizer, and they should have got a winner at the end. So you have to also give credit to Monaco for taking this game and making this game like more interesting, and because I think if any team against Paris Saint-Germain, who if they go to down to 10 men, they would have fallen down like a house of cards. I know they conceded 2 goals after that, but they still got the equalizer and should have scored the winner at the end. But again, that could have, would have. And in Monaco, you have to give them credit. They took the game really, really well, and they gave a good fight to PSG. But that wasn't enough in the end. And sometimes you have to cut out the goals defensively, which Monaco didn't do. PSG, I mean, they had the possession and chances, but defensively they were still very vulnerable. 1-0 down. They go 1-0 down from Akalucci. They were given a lifeline with the red card from Koulibaly. Mamadou Koulibaly from Monaco, and they scored the 2 goals after that, Marquinhos and Kvaratskhelia, and you think like, okay, PSG should be fine then. They're going to go through smoothly. They could score the 3rd or the 4th. Monaco under 90 men should be easy, no problem for them. But then they conceded the equalizer, and they could have conceded the 3rd goal again from Monaco. So yes, PSG have through, but you look at this PSG side and you think like, it's very vulnerable. It's very vulnerable. It's clearly not the same team as last season. Listen, they might step it up in the last 16 or quarterfinal if they play like a top team, like if they play like I don't know, when they play Bayern Munich. Sorry, if they play Bayern Munich, if they play Real Madrid, if they play, I don't know, quarterfinals or last 16, if they play Chelsea or Barcelona in the last 16. And the quarterfinals, they play one of the top teams, Bayern, Arsenal, Real Madrid, whatever. They may step up their level of their game more, but they also have to improve, because last season, even before they faced, I think, Liverpool last 16, their level, they raised their game, their level of great performance. They were smashing Brest, they were smashing Stuttgart, they completed a great comeback as Manchester City. I don't think we see, they will show some signs that they were there. I don't think this PSG side has shown signs yet, so that's a concern as well. That's another concern. But let's see. I mean, they still remain a threat. They're still one of the contenders to win the Champions League. But if they want to win the Champions League again, they have to improve their performances. So yeah. But the most important thing for PSG is that they go through to the last 16. Real Madrid beat Benfica 2-1. But Real Madrid actually were without Kylian Mbappe, but despite that, no drama, no problems. Benfica though, they gave a good fight, and they provided us something with that 14th minute goal from Rafa Silva, and you think like, okay, oh hello, could Mourinho and Benfica do something special here? But then 2 minutes later, a brilliant goal from Tuchel, fantastic goal. Some people question the defensively of Benfica, but I think you have to also give credit to the goal. I mean, amazing goal. Arnold scored the 34th minute to make it 2-1 to Real Madrid, but that was the Salaba VAR with the offside, and I think that was the right decision. I felt like there should have been a penalty for the challenge Otamendi on challenge of Otamendi on Vinicius Junior. I felt like Real Madrid should have had a penalty in that one. In my opinion, maybe. Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe. I'm second guessing, but maybe they could have had a penalty that one. But the VAR disallowed goal was the right decision. And then he got to second half, and also before the end of the first half, like Benfica created a lot of chances, and Courtois was making saves after saves. I mean, the guy was a beast. I mean, there was a moment when there was like 4 or 5 players around him in the edge of the box in the penalty area, and he still had a great vision in order to react and still made a fantastic save. I mean, what a fantastic goalkeeper. Obviously, it helps because he's very tall, but at the same time, you still have to react in the most perfect way, and he did that really well with the fantastic saves he made. I mean, he really stepped up again, and he showed why, in my opinion, he's a top class goalkeeper and arguably the best goalkeeper in the world right now. Arguably, I think he's better than David Raya. I think he's better than Alisson. I think he is also better than Donnarumma, in my opinion, even though Donnarumma is a top quality goalkeeper. I think he's also better than Garcia from Barcelona. He's better than Neuer right now. He's better than goalkeeper, in my opinion, because yes, Donnarumma makes some great saves, and he's a fantastic goalkeeper, and he can save teams' ass, let's say. But I think Courtois does it more for Real Madrid than Donnarumma does it for Man City. I mean, I'm not saying Donnarumma doesn't, make some great saves like he did it a lot of times in the past against Liverpool, for example. But I think Courtois, how many games we've seen Real Madrid where they win this game, or they win games, or they drew, or they lose. They win or they drew, and we say, oh, Courtois made a lot of great saves. If it wasn't for Courtois, Real Madrid would have lost this game. And whenever Real Madrid lose a game, they say, oh, Real Madrid lost this game, but if it wasn't for Courtois, they would have lost, I don't know, 6-7-0. How many times we've said that? A lot of times. So, defensively, Real Madrid were very poor, I have to say as well. That's a huge cause for concern, which is, is right also to say they are not as favourites to win the Champions League. Listen, they can win it with the quality they have, with the heritage they have behind them. But the way they play right now, they don't look like a team that is going to win the Champions League, in my opinion. So that's also a concern. But Real Madrid, they get the job done, and they scored a second goal, the winning goal for Vinicius Junior to kill the tie, 18th minute. The winning goal for Vinicius Junior, and of course, he did the same celebration as he did in the first leg by scoring the goal, which was very poetic. But yeah, Real Madrid win the game. They go through 2-1. I don't think it was a brilliant performance from Real Madrid, because I felt like Benfica played some good stuff in this game, and they created some good chances, particularly in the first half. But again, as I said many times before, it's about taking your chances. Real Madrid did that really well. Courtois still was making some brilliant saves, and he was one of the key people why Real Madrid won this game, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my opinion. And Real Madrid, like, you look at the performances, you have to give credit to Real Madrid as well, because, and I said it loud before the game, that even without Mbappe, they could still find ways to win. They still got other good players like Tuchemeni, Valverde, Vinicius Junior, Camavinga. Trent Arnold, I thought you looked okay. I have to say, I thought you looked okay, in my opinion. Okay, he's not good enough, but I think he was better than before, that's for sure. Valverde had a very good game. Tuchemeni, brilliant performance for him. Vinicius Junior stepped up in the big stage once again. So yeah, I don't think it was a brilliant performance for Real Madrid, but they get the job done. And that's the most important thing. And they go through to the last 16. As for Benfica, I mean, they gave a good fight to Real Madrid, but again, that wasn't enough. It was about taking your chances. I think that where they lost this time, I think it was the first leg, because I think if you want to win, if you want to qualify if you want to qualify and beat Real Madrid over 2 legs, you have to win your home leg. You have to. And as soon as Benfica lost that leg at home in the first leg, then you're not giving yourself a better chance, especially away from home at the Bernabeu in the second leg against a team like Real Madrid. So yeah, but Benfica, they put a good effort, a decent effort. had some very good chances, but again, defensively they were still shaky. So, yeah, obviously they've got only one competition to play for, which is the Portuguese league, as they are a couple of points behind. 7 points behind Porto. So technically they're still in the fight, but they have to win every game as well. So, yeah.